She sat in the car, hands frozen on the steering wheel, unable to turn the key. Her heart was racing, her vision blurry from the tears she was fighting not to cry. For the third time that morning, she reached into her coat pocket, pulled out the folded white paper, and read it again, like maybe this time, the words would change. But they didn't. Your services are no longer required due to organizational restructuring. That was it. No thank you. No explanation. Just a clean, cold ending to the job she'd given 6 years of her life to. Emma had worked long nights, met every deadline, missed birthdays, even spent her weekends reviewing documents at her kitchen table, but none of that mattered now. The world moved on. And she was left behind, just another name crossed off in someone else's spreadsheet. She finally turned the key and started the car, but the silence inside her was louder than the engine. It wasn't just the job she was losing, it was her identity. Being a corporate analyst had been more than a title. It had been her routine, her pride, her escape. After the divorce, work was the only thing that made her feel in control. It gave her structure when her personal life was chaos. It gave her a reason to get up when everything else felt like it was falling apart. And now? Now she didn't even have that. She drove home slowly, her thoughts swimming in shame and confusion. How was she going to tell her parents? Or worse, her daughter? At 7 years old, Lily looked at her mother like she could fix anything. That broke Emma even more. Because this time, she had nothing to give. For the next few weeks, Emma went through the motions. Wake up. Pretend to job hunt. Smile for Lily. Cry in the shower. Repeat. The severance package would keep them afloat for a while, but not forever. And as days passed, the weight of rejection, fear, and worthlessness wrapped tighter around her chest. Then one Thursday afternoon, something small happened. Lily came running home from school with paint on her hands and glitter in her hair, proudly holding up a crooked drawing of a woman in a superhero cape. "It's you, Mama," she said, beaming. Emma forced a smile and asked, "Why am I a superhero?" Lily looked surprised. "Because you always help people. Like when you helped Mr. Joe down the street when his dog ran away. Or when you gave that lady our blanket, 'cause she was cold outside. You don't even work, but you still help people every day." Emma didn't know what to say. She stared at the drawing, and for the first time in weeks, something inside her stirred. Something soft. Something real. That night, she lay awake thinking, not about spreadsheets or job applications, but about what Lily had said. You still help people every day. Over the next few days, she began doing small things. Volunteering at the local food pantry. Dropping off old clothes at the women's shelter. Baking extra cookies for the neighbors' kids. She wasn't doing it to feel better, at least not at first. But every small act brought a little light back into her chest. A warmth she hadn't felt in a long time. One afternoon at the pantry, she sat beside an elderly woman named Frances who had trouble walking and carried a sadness in her eyes that Emma recognized all too well. Emma sat and listened as Frances talked about losing her husband, her home, and her sense of purpose. Emma didn't have answers, but she listened, really listened, and held her hand as she cried. Before leaving, Frances whispered, "You know, you're really good at this. You make people feel human again." That night, something clicked. Emma realized she hadn't felt this alive in years. Not in boardrooms. Not in meetings. Not even during promotions. There was something deeply right about helping others, not out of duty, but out of love. She began researching local nonprofits and stumbled upon a small organization that offered mental wellness support to women in crisis. They needed a program coordinator. The pay was modest, the work was heavy, but the mission, it lit something inside her. Emma applied with shaking hands and a hopeful heart. During the interview, she told them honestly about her journey, losing her job, losing her sense of self, and how helping others helped her find meaning again. She was hired on the spot. The work wasn't easy. Some days were heartbreaking. Some stories cut deep. But for the first time in her life, Emma felt like she was doing what she was meant to do. Every story she listened to, every woman she helped, reminded her that this was her calling. Not the title. Not the paycheck. But the impact. The healing. The quiet, unseen grace that comes from simply being there for someone who's hurting. A year later, on the anniversary of losing her job, she sat on her porch with Lily and watched the sunset. "Do you remember when you said I was a superhero?" Emma asked. Lily nodded. "I still think you are." Emma smiled, tears welling up in her eyes, not of sadness, but gratitude. "You were right, you know. I thought I lost everything, but I found something better." To anyone out there feeling lost, defeated, or unsure of their worth, Emma's story is a reminder. Sometimes what feels like the end is just the beginning of something far more beautiful. A door closed might be life's way of guiding you toward the one that was meant for you all along. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel Everyday Grace Stories. Your support helps us share more real stories that heal, uplift, and remind us all that grace is found in the everyday. Thank you for being part of this journey.